everyone. It's my reflection video about the RA 4200. And number one, what is the case all about? So, firstly, let's explore the significant legal case in the Philippines about Chavez v. Gonzalez and its far-reaching implications about for privacy rights, freedom of the press, and how we understand the balance between these fundamental aspects of democratic society. So, number one, the case centers on a legal battle involving Francisco Chavez, a former Solicitor General of the Philippines who challenged the actions of then Secretary of Justice Raul Gonzalez and the National Telecommunication Commission or the NTC. The controversy began when recordings of phone conversations allegedly involving President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and a commission on election official surfaced, hinting at possible election rigging during the 2004 national elections. Chavez argued that the government's response, which included invoking the Anti-Wiretapping Act or the RA number 4200 to prevent the dissemination of these tapes, was an overreach that infringed on freedom of the press and free speech. And number two, what are the facts of the case? And about to fully understand the case, let's walk through the key events or the important part of the events. In June 2005, Press Secretary Ignacio publicly disclosed what he claimed were wiretap conversations involving President Arroyo and a Comelec official. These tapes were presented in two versions. One, allegedly genuine, and the other supposedly altered. And attorney Alan, who released the same tapes to the public, asserted their authenticity, thus intensify the controversy. And in response, Secretary Raul Gonzalez, representing the government, instructing the NTC or the National Telecommunications Commission to order the media outlets not to broadcast the tape and invoking the Republic Act number 4200 and the anti-wiretapping. This directive was framed as a necessary step to protect the privacy of individuals and uphold the integrity of the law. But it was met with significant opposition from media groups and civil libertarians who saw it as an attempt to stifle press freedom and suppress vital information of public interest. Next, number three, what are the issues on the case? So, the case presented several critical legal and constitutional issues. First, there was the question of whether the application of the Anti-Wiretapping Act in this context is violated the principles of freedom of the press, and next is the freedom of speech that is guaranteed by the Philippine Constitution. And essentially, it asks whether the government could use privacy laws to prevent the dissemination of potential incriminating information and involving public officials. And another one or another key issue is was whether the NTC's order constituted prior restraint, which is the government's acts that prohibit speech or other expression before it can take place. Prior to this, restraint is generally considered unconstitutional unless it meets the strict criteria of preventing a clear and present danger or even a threat to public order and security. The case also touched on the broader implications for media independence and the public's right to know about matters of significant public concerns. So, next is what is the ruling of the Supreme Court? And about this is in a landmark decision, the Supreme Court of the Philippines sided with Francisco Chavez. Why? Because the court ruled that the government's action constituted prior restraint and also were an unconstitutional infringement on the freedoms of speech and of the press. The court emphasized that while the Anti-Wiretapping Act is essential for protecting privacy, it cannot be used as a tool to suppress the dissemination of information that is of significant public interest, especially when it involves allegations of wrongdoing by public officials. But the court noted that the right to privacy must also be balanced. Why? Because against the need for transparency and the accountability in government. It also highlighted the freedom of the press serves is as a crucial check on government power and corruption, and any attempt to curb this freedom must be scrutinized with the highest degree of caution. So next is what are my learnings or takeaways from this case? Number one is balancing the rights. Why? Because when delicate balance between the right to privacy and freedom of expression is crucial in a democratic society. Laws meant to protect privacy and should not be misused to hinder transparency and accountability. Next is public interest. This information is that concerns about public welfare, especially regarding potential misconduct by public officials. This should be accessible to the public, and this transparency is the key to fostering trust and accountability in governance. Number three is the judicial oversight, or the judiciary plays a very important or vital role in safeguarding a constitutional rights and also ensuring that laws are implied fairly and without abuse. And court's decision in this case underscores its roles as a defender of democratic principle. Last is the media's role. Why? Because freedom to the press is essential for a healthy democracy. It ensures that the public remains informed about the government actions and can hold leaders accountable. This case reinforces the importance of protecting journalistic freedom against undue censorship. So, overall, the case about Chavez v. Gonzalez is a significant milestone in the legal of landscape of the Philippines. Why? Because illustrating the complex interplay between privacy rights and freedom of expression, it stands as a testimony or testament to enduring importance of safeguarding our rights or constitutional rights and the essential role of the judiciary in upholding this value. So that's all about my answers and conclusion, and I hope this video helps, and thank you for watching.